Hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. I'm having a good one. It's actually funny. The thing that I wanted to talk about today actually wound up happening to me like 10, 20 minutes ago. Locked myself out of my car. Had to get to a place where I could get help, have someone unlock my car, which was exciting, which was interesting. I tried not to stress too much during the situation because I certainly won't be the first person to lock themselves out the car and won't be the last person to do so. But first, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olivia. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day today. Just that experience of locking myself out of the car made me just realize that I could have been stressed out. I could have been anxious. I could have been crying. I could have been having to say, this is the worst day ever. I mean, it's not the worst day ever. It's not even the worst day, but you just have to. I had to realize on my, trying to get help. I had to realize that exactly what I wanted to talk about today is you got to make space for the bad things that happen. Life, you have to allow yourself to feel feelings and just work through them and let them happen and give them space so that when you work through it, you can get to the other side of it. I try to make space around, the inconveniences of life and the things that happen to you. I don't want to say that I want to continue to subject myself to bad or the things that are thrown at me, but just recognize that not every single day is going to be peaches and rainbows and the best day of your life. Things are going to happen. Can you still have a good day no matter what happens to you in your life? So, like I said, I want to make space for sometimes the stressful moments, the moments where I'm afraid, the moments when I'm nervous, the moments where I'm having a bad day. Well, not necessarily a bad day, bad moment in the day, because there's not a I don't want to qualify just because I have a bad moment in life or bad period of time that I had a quote unquote bad day. I want to make space for the pain. I want to make space for the mistakes. The mistake I just made of locking myself out my car, but just the everyday mistakes, which each thing that life throws at you or the mistakes that you make in life, you start getting gaining more and more strength. You realize, oh, I got through that. I can get through this next thing that happens in life or whatever things that happen. And through each moment, you have a quote unquote bad moment. You're having a quote unquote breakdown, quote unquote. If when you make it through it, you realize that it was a breakthrough, and then you found some version of yourself through it. Even every moment of stress, anxiety, pain, despair, things that happen into your life, negative things that are thrown at you, you make it through it, and all of a sudden you got this new power. I made it through it. I can make it through something else life throws at me because this was big. All this pain, this despair, I made it through it, and I'm still here. I just want to continue to create spaces for the quote unquote bad, the mistakes, the things that are not, we don't necessarily discuss because we as humans, we always want to discuss the good things, but we never want to discuss the moments of pain, maybe the moments of weaknesses, the moments of us being vulnerable, really the things that make us human and relatable to every single person walking around here on this earth. And I want to create a space around it for the quote unquote bad things and even acknowledge it that, okay, I made a mistake. What can I do after that? Okay, I had this bad moment, or I had this something happen in my life that wasn't the best, pain, trauma, anxiety, stress, negativity. What is this, what do I learn from this? I can acknowledge the pain. How do I feel? How am I working through it? There's always going to be something bad going on. Unfortunately, there's always something good going on at the same time. I want to have the ability to acknowledge whatever feeling or whatever label is, whether it's good, neutral, bad, and just acknowledge how I feel. And even when I make it through whatever it is I'm making, whatever it is I'm going through, whether it's mistakes, weaknesses, vulnerabilities, the bad, quote unquote, bad things, am I, when I make it through it, even holding gratitude for it and that thankful for the things that We as humans, we don't like discussing our vulnerability and our weaknesses and the things that happens to us, because we think, oh, everybody talks about the strengths and the highs. No one likes talking about the lows. But when you make space for it, not only do you invite yourself to give yourself grace, but someone else is willing to give themselves some grace as well, whatever it is they're going through, and be thankful that they made it through it. You know, I want to continue to make space for the quote unquote bad things, the difficult emotions, the uncomfortable truths, the weaknesses, the vulnerabilities. I think it's just essential for your mental health, and it's just one of the foundations of just being a human being overall. Bad things are going to happen to you. It's what makes us human, what makes us somehow we always can. You hear a story about someone's high or just their life is doing this, and then you're like, wow, I can really relate to that, or that makes me feel seen. And I feel like when you avoid the quote unquote bad things that happen into your life, it creates this apathy, it creates this numbness that you have, and it limits your perspective of life. When you don't acknowledge, when you acknowledge and allow a room for various things that happen into your life, whether it's good, bad, whether it's neutral, whether it's mistakes, vulnerabilities, strengths, things that we don't like to discuss, it just allows you, even in your emotions, a whole spectrum of emotions other than happiness and sadness. We love talking about that, a range of emotions. It just allows you to be more authentic. Like I said, it allows you to be more human. The things that make us all human is we all have a range of emotions. And I feel like, though, when you do not allow yourself to make space for the bad things, or just for the bad emotions or whatever things that you're going through, not saying that you feel as though that's all that you deserve and all that life is, but just when you block some of the things that happens, the bad stuff, quote unquote, it's almost like I said, it leads you to this state of total apathy where, whether you experience the highest of the high or whether you experience the lowest of the low, you don't feel any change. And it just feels identical, doesn't really move you. You feel nothing, very emotionless, no emotions. And I just want to welcome happiness. I want to welcome joy. I want to welcome love. I want to welcome peace. I want to welcome all the quote unquote highs. But I also want to learn to be aware and acknowledge the pain, the despair, the frustration, the vulnerability, the weaknesses, the stress, the anxiety, also as well. And I want to learn to see, learn how am I feeling in specific moments? What is the emotion that I feel? Learning to appreciate the bad. I want to appreciate the mundane. I want to appreciate the boring. I want to appreciate the positive. I mean, everybody appreciates the positive, but do you, in a sense, do you even appreciate some of the quote unquote bad things? Can you see the bad? Can you see the positive even in the negative? Learn to just allow it to exist, and not necessarily always trying to fix it or trying to fix or eliminate the emotion immediately, but allowing myself to feel it too is something that I want to continue to work on. And not be so hard on myself when bad things happen. Give myself grace. Or maybe when you're dealing with difficult things in your life or difficult emotions or whatever is going on in your life, giving myself grace and lowering my expectations of myself in that moment so that I'm not hard on myself. Giving myself more grace, more love. And what else was I going to say? Being more thankful, gratitude, even in a sense, when things happen or things that are thrown at your way, even practicing the present moment, being thankful for that moment. Yeah, your life, whatever it is in that moment, may be chaotic, and who knows what people are going through and the bad things that happen in their lives or emotions, how they're feeling. But even being how do I feel in that moment, even though I'm feeling this emotion, whatever it is that's going in my life? How do I feel? Anchoring myself in the present. Practicing self-care too. When something happens, how do I take care of myself? Do I give myself love, or am I hard on myself and give myself um, very critical of myself? Maybe because you got something perfectionism, you feel as though you can't make a mistake. Maybe that's something from your childhood. But what can you do to practice self-love even though these bad things happen to you in life? Whatever, it's a range of things. Do you give yourself kindness? Do you give yourself grace? Do you give yourself love? Do you maybe even shift the focus to someone else so that it allows yourself to, worry about what someone else, how someone else is doing for in that moment, so you're not putting all the emphasis on yourself. I just want to, in my mind and my heart, I just want to I want to be able to be aware of it, and I want to embrace it all, the range of everything. Not just the highs, because you can embrace the highs. Yeah, that's great. But I want to embrace every little bump and every little rock and every little twist and turn and just every little, what is it, deviation? Something like that. Don't, if I'm said that wrong. Every little twist and turn of life and whatever life throws at you and whatever, just being a human being, being your authentic self, whatever it brings, your light and your darknesses and those cloudy days, your joy, your happiness, your peace, your frustration, your anger, your stress, your anxiety, your fears, your love, whatever it is. I want to simply embrace it all. The good, the bad, the mundane, the boring, the neutral, the ugly. I don't know. I feel like that's just how you learn to live life fully. Learn to just what that's just what makes you authentic, makes you a human being, just like everybody else. But that's just something that I wanted to talk about today. Make space for the bad. Like me, lock myself out of my car. Could have been crying, could have been, doing all these things. How did I feel in that moment? Not the best, but I had to immediately I switched my perspective. Okay, I'm feeling this. I feel it. What can I do to give myself grace and kindness? Okay, I locked myself out the car. I won't be the first person. I definitely won't be the last. So what can I do? You know, giving myself grace, giving myself kindness, but and yet still feeling how I felt and the mistakes that you make. And I was like, okay, it happened. I feel it. What can I do now? But like I said, that's just something that I wanted to talk about today. I hope everyone has a fantastic day today. It was a beautiful one where I live at. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.